Now, throughout the entirety of this manga, we have witnessed time and time again the inner turmoil that is experienced by the character of Guts. But what is extremely unique about his struggle is that throughout the manga, this struggle is actually actively displayed in a very visual and engaging manner. And what I mean by this is his sword. Now, over the past few weeks, I've really wrestled with this concept, using my own path of struggle to really try to fully embrace and understand what Guts' sword really means as a symbol, as a motif, and as a representation of personal struggle and suffering. And it has given me a great sense of joy and accomplishment when I realized the implementations of such a thought process. In Berserk, we have taken on an extensive journey through Guts' suffering, from the moment he's introduced as a child to the present black swordsman that we have grown to admire and respect. And with that, we see upgrades in his weaponry. And this is in no way just a mere coincidence. And this in itself is done in such an artistic manner that I don't believe I've ever seen something so nuanced and well represented in any other manga or anime I have consumed. Basically, Guts' sword is a physical manifestation of his deepest suffering, his deep pain and depression, and all of these elements of life that the general public would usually deem as negative, damaging, and life-draining. Yet, Berserk has always seemed to say a big fuck you to this kind of mindset, which is one of the main reasons why I constantly revisit this manga as something that is deeply, deeply beneficial to people who struggle to combat their own mental illnesses. Now, let me sidetrack for a bit, back into my own personal battle. As a person that currently suffers from fighting a mental war every single day, I want to quickly point out some of the changes in mindset I've embraced in the last few months. And with the immense support that I have received through comments and supporters, and through other external influential figures such as David Goggins, I've really come to this conclusion that feeling suicidal, feeling these bouts of depression, should not be viewed as a form of weakness. We shouldn't be running away from these feelings. What we should be doing is what has been done time and time again in Berserk, which is to use those powerful emotions, use those powerful events, something that can fuel and feed that inner dark being, make us even more resilient, more dangerous, and more unpredictable. Now, the psychologist Carl Jung has also once said that it is probably better to become a dangerous, beastly monster and learn to control it, rather than be a docile, harmless individual who is constantly consumed by his personal desires. And I deeply embrace that notion. The more suffering, the more pain, the more torture Guts endures, he realizes this and allows it to consume him. And this can be seen when we view his battles. We see that through each giant hurdle in his life, we see him barely survive, come back, more darker, more stronger, and more resilient and bloodthirsty. And with that, we see him gain tools that are parallel these dark and dangerous character growths. We see his sword shifting into larger and larger tools, and this is an extremely important aspect of his character if we merely focus on the heaviness of the sword. Many of us can fully understand me when I talk about the heaviness of our pain, this heaviness of our suffering. Many of us know that feeling because we carry that feeling everywhere we go. But that heaviness, that weight we have on our shoulders, always viewed as an intangible, untouchable, and relentless force that is constantly pushing our heads under the water, making us drown, making us feel that death may be a great solution to that suffering. However, what Guts can teach us in this regard is learning to materialize and solidify that pain, and attempt to visualize and objectify it so that we may learn that the heaviness is actually something like a sword, which is a tool we can use to charge even further into the battle of life, destroy whatever is in front of us. And with each obstacle we overcome, it's honing that blade, it's sharpening that weapon, and we learn to conquer and tame that beast with each swing. This is how I believe is the best way to beat the shit out of our psychological battles, by becoming them and then beating them up to do our bidding. And yes, Guts is in constant suffering. So what? What if suffering is necessary? What if our suffering just means that we are blessed to be able to fight, to live, instead of living a comfortable, mediocre life? What if our suffering is a gift, just like a giant sword is to Guts? A unique tool that no normal person can handle, only we can wield. Use this mindset. Use this mindset to overcome your demons and destroy them day by day, week by week, obstacle by obstacle, forever.